Deep in the heart of the Ural Mountains, where the wind howls like a mournful spirit and the snow buries secrets beneath its icy shroud, a tragedy unfolded in February 1959 that defies explanation to this day, a tale so haunting, so drenched in enigma, that it has become a cornerstone of modern conspiracy lore. Picture this: 9 young, vibrant souls, all seasoned hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, set off on January 23, 1959, under the leadership of 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a skilled outdoorsman with a passion for adventure. Their mission was ambitious yet straightforward: to trek 350 kilometers through the frozen wilderness of Soviet Russia, braving sub-zero temperatures and treacherous terrain, to reach the summit of Otorten Mountain in the northern Urals by February 12. The group, 7 men and 2 women, ranging in age from 20 to 38, was a tight-knit crew of students and graduates, equipped with the best gear their modest means could afford. Sturdy skis, heavy coats, and a canvas tent to shield them from the merciless cold. They were no strangers to hardship. Many had faced the rugged Soviet landscape before, their spirits buoyed by camaraderie and the thrill of the challenge. Their journey began with optimism, documented in diaries and photographs that captured their laughter, their songs, and their determination as they carved a path through snowdrifts and pine forests. But as they approached the ominous Kholat Syakhl, translated from the indigenous Mansi language as Dead Mountain, on February 1st, something unspeakable occurred, a rupture in reality so profound that it turned their expedition into a descent into terror. That night, camped on a gentle slope beneath the mountain's shadow, the hikers pitched their tent with precision, anchoring it against the wind, their last journal entry noting a routine evening of shared meals and rest. Yet, within hours, chaos erupted. For reasons no one can fully comprehend, the group tore their way out of the tent, not through the entrance, but by slashing the fabric from the inside with a knife, as if gripped by a primal, uncontrollable panic. Half-dressed, some barefoot or in socks, others in flimsy sleepwear, they fled into the pitch-black night, abandoning their only shelter in temperatures plunging to -30°C, their tracks weaving a desperate path down the slope toward a dense forest a mile away. Weeks later, when a search party finally located their remains, after the group failed to send a scheduled telegram, the scene was a tableau of horror that would ignite decades of speculation. The tent stood eerily intact, its contents, food, boots, coats, and maps, left behind as if the hikers had no time to gather their wits or their gear. 2 bodies were found first, near a makeshift fire beneath a cedar tree, stripped to their underwear, their hands blistered as if they'd clawed at the bark for kindling in a futile bid to survive. Further into the forest, 3 more lay frozen in the snow, positioned as though they'd been staggering back toward the tent, their faces locked in expressions of dread. Days later, the final 4 were uncovered in a ravine, buried under 4 meters of snow, and it was here that the mystery deepened into nightmare. While some had succumbed to hypothermia, a slow, cruel death in the unforgiving cold, others bore injuries that shattered all rational explanation. One man's skull was fractured with brutal force, another's chest was crushed as if struck by a speeding truck, yet their skin showed no bruises or cuts to suggest an external blow. Ludmila Dubinina, just 20 years old, was found with her tongue, eyes, and parts of her face missing, her body a grotesque puzzle piece in this macabre riddle. Stranger still, tests revealed traces of radioactivity on some of their clothes, levels far beyond normal, while a hiker's camera yielded a haunting final frame. Blurry orbs of light hovering in the sky, as if something unearthly had watched their demise. The Soviet investigation, launched in haste and cloaked in secrecy, offered no clarity. The official report, released months later, concluded only that the hikers had died due to an unknown compelling force, a phrase so vague it fueled rather than quelled the growing whispers of conspiracy. What could have driven 9 capable, rational people to flee into certain death, leaving behind every tool of survival? The simplest theory points to nature's wrath, an avalanche, perhaps, roaring down the slope in the dead of night. But the incline was a mere 15 to 20 degrees, too shallow for such an event, and no debris or snow displacement marked the site. Weather records showed no storms, no sudden drops to justify their terror. Could it have been an animal, a bear or a pack of wolves, lurking in the shadows? Yet the snow bore no paw prints, no signs of a predator's pursuit. The Mansi, the local indigenous people, were briefly suspected, but they had no history of hostility, and no evidence tied them to the scene. Then there are the wilder tales, a Yeti, the elusive snowman of the Urals, said to roam these mountains, its rage unleashed on intruders, a theory bolstered by a hiker's journal mentioning a snowman legend, though skeptics dismiss it as campfire folklore. But the Cold War backdrop of 1959 offers darker possibilities. Some insist the hikers stumbled into a secret Soviet military test, perhaps a missile launch gone awry, or an experiment with infrasound, a low-frequency weapon that could induce panic and disorientation. The radioactivity, the crushed bones, the swift classification of the case by Soviet officials, all hint at a cover-up, a truth too dangerous to reveal. Witnesses that night, miles away, reported seeing orange fireballs streaking across the sky, and a nearby hiker group claimed their tents shook with a strange vibration, clues, perhaps, of a government operation gone horribly wrong. Or could it have been something beyond human machination? UFO enthusiasts point to those glowing orbs in the photograph, suggesting extraterrestrial interference, an alien encounter that drove the hikers mad with fear. The missing tongue, the precise internal injuries, the lights in the sky, all weave a thread of the supernatural into this tapestry of dread. In 2019, Russia reopened the case, promising answers at last, but their verdict, an avalanche, once again, rang hollow to many, failing to account for the radiation, the mutilation, or the sheer panic that defied all survival instinct. Decades on, the Dyatlov Pass incident endures as a chilling enigma, a frozen snapshot of humanity's fragility against forces we cannot name. Was it a freak of nature, a military blunder, or a brush with the unknowable? The diaries stop, the photographs fade, and the snow keeps its silence, but the questions howl louder than the wind, daring us to peer into the abyss of Dead Mountain, where 9 lives ended, and a mystery was born, one that grips the imagination with icy fingers and refuses to let go.